Hi, my name is Julia, and I'm an abroad student studying in Florence for the semester. I go to Muhlenberg College in America, which is in Pennsylvania. And my question is, with everything going on the news today, with all the tragedies that we're seeing, I guess sort of how do you explain the how people cope with them through a Jewish point of view, the concept of bad things happening to good people? What is sort of your take on that?
In my view, where tragedies happen, the first and most important thing is not why did it happen. The most important thing is to have the support of a community. In the 22 years that I was chief rabbi, I witnessed, sadly, so many tragedies. But in every single case, the community rallied round and gave people the strength to continue. And no one does community better than Jews. I mean, I don't want to go on about it, but this is what we do so well. And therefore, I think that's practically the most important thing there is. A long time ago, 7 years ago, in 2011, a medical charity in Britain did a survey, and it discovered that the average British person between 18 and 30, 7 years ago, had 237 Facebook friends. Then they asked how many of those could you count on if you were going through difficulty. The average answer was 2. A quarter said 1. An eighth said none. This was 2011. Why do I mention this? Because in 2011, a young couple from New York with 3 young children stood up in our shul in London, in St. John's Wood, and said their goodbye and their thank you. They had been in that community for 3 years. They had left New York and to settle in London because the young man had been given a magnificent new job, head of Lehman Brothers Europe. Summer of 2008. Within 3 weeks, no more Lehman Brothers. Can you imagine that? Somebody who sold their home in America, come to England, and 3 weeks, the whole company, which was supposed to be too big to fail, ceased to be. And he got up 3 years later in 2011 and said, without the help of this community, me and my family would not have survived. I mean, that is a horrendous thing. So that is more important than any academic answer to why do bad things happen to good people. Secondly, Jews are not that good at answering that question. On the contrary, we're good at asking that question. Avram Avinu said to Hashem in unprecedented words, "Hashofet kol haaretz lo yaseh mishpat." You plan to wipe out Sodom, shall the judge of all the earth not do justice? Moshe Rabbeinu said, "Lama hareyota lama zeh, lama zeh shlachtani." Why did you do evil to this people? Why did you ever send me? In Judaism, faith lies in the question, not in the answer. Don't forget, if you have no faith, if you think the universe came into being through blind chance and Darwinian survival is a blind process, then who would expect there to be any justice? So if you have no faith in God, you have no question. Bad things happen because that is the kind of universe we live in. Faith is in the question, not in the answer. Now, Moshe Rabbeinu asked HaKadosh Baruch Hu, "Hodieni na derachecha," please let me understand. And Hashem refused to answer him. Now, why did Hashem refuse to answer him? Let me be very blunt. If Hashem had answered Moses, why did I allow this evil to happen? Then Moses would have to accept the evil in the world. Kach ratzon HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is what God wanted. I have to accept it. God did not want Moses to accept it. He wanted to fight against it. Jews don't accept evil in the world. We fight against it. We were the people who fought against every oppression there ever was. Jews were in the forefront of the fight against apartheid in South Africa. They were the ones marching along with Martin Luther King. 90% of the people who funded his million-person march on Washington were Jewish. 90% of them were Jewish. We fight against evil. We don't justify evil. And I think that is the right way to be. We are pretty good at fighting against, look at Israel, fighting against famine. How do you make food grow in places it never grew before? How do you fight against illness? Israel is a leader in every kind of medical technology. Today, how do you fight against this cyber warfare that Russia is now developing against the West? If you want to fight a cyber war, you have to go and consult with Israelis. These are the people. We lead the fight against evil. And I would rather live with the people who fought against evil than among a people who somehow found theological justifications for evil. And that is my